What's going on, guys? XQ420 here. You know what time it is. It's summertime. And you know what happens in summertime? We get the seasoning right for you. Make sure the grill's fired up. Make sure you get them grill marks right on it. Sprinkling the thing. Appreciate y'all for being here. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button for me. Now, in today's video, NYC students, man, they New York City, they can't go back to school, but we can send you to a community center. Let's jump into it. All right, article right here from the Blaze. NYC students who can't go to schools due to COVID-19 closures can go to daycare at taxpayer-funded community centers. So hold on, I can't go to a school, but I can go to a community center. It's more dangerous at a school than a community center. I got you. Okay. Well, let's see what they got to say about it. So it said New York City schools will only be partially open in the fall, with many students participating in a hybrid learning program in which they're only in school 2 or 3 days out of the week and learning remotely on other days, or AKA not doing nothing. Let me tell you something about learning remotely. Man, if you're younger, unless you got some parents sitting there on top of you all the time, the only remote learning you're going to be doing is on your PlayStation, on the computer, just sitting there, tapping a video game. I mean, that's the learning going to be going on, man. You got to have some structure. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't want the kids to have no structure, man. I swear this is trying to make the generations below us, trying to make them just a little bit more susceptible to propaganda. You know, they're not learning as much about what's actually going on in the world, so they actually feed them more propaganda, and that's what they'll believe. That's what I think is going on. I even see it on like Nickelodeon, on the kids networks. They'd be talking about Black Lives Matter, and then they'd be pushing the whole what gender you are on them. I said, man, let them be kids, man. I mean, can't a kid be a kid? Why does a 5-year-old got to worry about what gender he is? Man, let them be a kid. They just trying to push that stuff on them. They got up there Black Lives Matter, racially charged stuff. Man, just show Barney up there and let it ride. Let it rip. Show the Looney Tunes. I mean, they done took Elmer Fudd's gun, so I mean, you won't see no gun violence. You just see Bugs blow his head off with a stick of dynamite. But I digress. So they said to compensate for this and ease the burden on parents, Mayor de Blasio plans to create publicly funded child care program for students of all ages where they can have a place to go and learn during the day when the city is preventing them from going to school. So hold on a second. You see, this is the madness I'm talking about, folks. Man, people have slipped and bumped their head 3 or 4 times. They ain't got a brain cell left. So I'm gonna send them to school 2 days out the week, and I'm gonna send them to the community center the other 3 days, where they'll be around other people. I mean, then why not just send them to school? I mean, folks you just look at people and you're like, man, did you hear what you said? I said, dude, man, when you snort your cocaine, you snort it through both noses. I mean, you take that stuff right up, Bo, right into your eyeballs. That stuff be filling your eyeballs up. You'd be convulsing and everything. I said, dang, man, stop with the nonsense. They said this daycare program will have students meeting at community centers, libraries, and cultural organizations, as well as other available spaces. They said the program will provide a learning lab environment that is tailored to kids' specific ages. There will be tutoring and field trips. A field trip? I mean, what are they going to take them to? They're going to take them from the community center to the library, and from the library to the cultural organizations. What type of culture they talking about? You better be careful of these community centers. They be in there teaching them about how to write and all kind of stuff. Man, I got an eyebrow raised on this. I got both brows raised. I mean, my brows raised so high they off of my head. That's how high my eyebrows are raised. So this some observers noted that this replacement for school sounds an awful lot like school. Well, yeah. I mean, because it's the same thing. I mean, de Blasio, he's probably, man, how did he get in office? Does the dude know anything? I mean, he's one of the dumbest people that I've ever seen. He out there painting the street black like, oh man, we can't have mass gatherings unless you're protesting and tearing shit up. Then, hey, mass gather away. We want y'all to get together in the thousands. It's like, do what? I'm gonna be out there painting with the fellas out there in the street. The Blasio, worry about your city, man. It's crumbling before your very eyes. They talking about 80% of I believe it was 80% of restaurants in June couldn't afford to rent, and you out here worried about making a community center? You out here painting the street? Man, you smoking the yayo, bud. The sticky icky, the chronic, the hydronic, the hydraulic. You all in all of it. So this said, de Blasio said the purpose of the program, which at the moment is planned to serve about 100,000 children, is to put kids in an environment where they can safely social distance, which he said is not possible in a normal school setting. Boy, they keep dragging this up about social distancing, man. The younger kids aren't at risk, man. I mean, we can't hide from this forever. They just want you to hide until they can stick you with 50 needles that may do something for you, but it probably mess you up in the process. I mean, come on, man. Boy, it just makes you shake your head, bud. Godly. They said de Blasio last week called school reopens the single biggest part of restarting our city. However, most schools are not able to bring students back while also maintaining safe social distance. Well, I mean, school is about interaction, man. It ain't about non-interaction. What? Man, the whole purpose of school is so you can actually create a network. You create friends. That's how jobs and stuff work when you get in college. College ain't so much right there about you learning your craft and getting a job. A lot of times people don't get the job just from mainly what their degree's in. It's about actually networking, knowing people. If somebody moves on somewhere, then they're like, hey man, you can jump on board. You kind of network. You get your name out there with other people. So it's supposed to be about interaction. So it said when you think about social distancing, you need more space. You're going to have fewer kids in the classroom, fewer kids in the school building. So they're going to move from fewer kids in the classroom, and then they're going to have those same kids, go somewhere else so they can spread it there. They go somewhere else so they can spread it there. So they just be spreading all over the place instead of in this one setting. So, I mean, I don't know what you think you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If that's your whole purpose, is say, oh, we're trying to limit where it's spreading at, then wouldn't it make more sense for all of them to be in one central location? So if it spreads within that central location instead of them hopping all over the place. I mean, that's just me. Like I said, I ain't worried about the spread. They keep telling me about the spread. All we doing right now is spreading our cheeks and taking it. That's it. The government's just straight giving it to us. And every day I see more people who are more afraid than they were 4 months ago when they were blowing everybody's lungs out with ventilators and intentionally sending the old folks sick back into the old folks' home. So all we doing right now, only thing we spreading is our cheeks and taking the rod of the government. That's it. So they said available data shows that children are extremely low risk of severe illness from COVID-19 and are even less likely to die from it. That's what I've been trying to teachers. Stop with the nonsense. Get your ASS back in school and stop with the nonsense. If you're scared, quit being a teacher and find some other profession. That's all I can tell you. Man, you can't live in fear for the rest of your life. That's all I'm going to tell you. I mean, you got to move on. 99.89% survival rate. And we have folded all into pieces. Said according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, children make up 22% of the United States population and only 5% of the total COVID-19 cases. 1.7 from age 0 to 9 and 3.8% from age 10 to 19. Yet you want them to mask all the way up in there. Man, and here's what I'm going to say about the mask thing. If you sneeze in that mask, okay, let's take a handkerchief, okay? You sneeze into the handkerchief. Do you keep that handkerchief stuck to your face the rest of the day? That's all I'm going to ask. You know what I'm saying? If you cough, if you spit up, and you catch it with a paper towel, do you use that same paper towel a little bit later on to put across your face? No. So why we got these cloth masks strapped up to us? You breathe into it for about 5-10 minutes, man. You just breathing all the bacteria, sneezing at one time. Now you just got all this stuff just straight baptism right there on the front of your face. I mean, the Holy Spirit. I mean, I don't get it, man. So it said those children who got infected handled this infection very well for the most part, with most having mild or absent symptoms. So they said, what was it? Another one. The pediatrician, 67,000 said kids need to be back in school. And yet, you know what you hear from your governors? Oh, we're using science and data. No, you're not. You're full of shit. Okay, that's just all there is to it. So I'm done with your lies. Okay. So they said this is true for both younger children and teens. So there it is. I mean, this is according to Dr. Megan Freeman, pediatric infectious disease fellow at the UPMC Children's Hospital, Pittsburgh. I mean, put it right out there. Also, according to the Washington Post, countries in Europe and Asia have reopened their schools without seeing a significant spike in COVID-19 cases. No significant spike. None. This ain't taking out the young folks. Now, here's what I'm going to say. H1N1, when it was around, it was killing younger people. But didn't nobody give a damn then. You know what I'm saying? It was taking out younger folks. That's what it was targeting. Oh, as long as us older folks are okay, we gives a damn about the young people. Do you know that a kid is more likely to be kidnapped and sold in the sex trade market than they are to die from COVID-19 or to even get it? Last year, we had 421,000 missing reports for children. Cases. That's just the ones reported. And folks over here that, I can't send my kid to school. Do you know that, I believe, if I'm correct, there's been 30 kids dying in the U.S. under the age of 15 from COVID-19, whereas of the flu, 180 died last year. So, I mean, what are we talking about? You let those 180 die and you didn't shut nothing down. Man, don't y'all remember Michael Jordan, the flu game? Man, so he was out there spreading the flu. And yet we praise him, but this little bit right here, but we just fold right up. So this is state and local leaders across the U.S. are grappling with the decision of when and how to reopen schools. No, they grappling with that because all they into right now is just sinking Trump. That's all this is about. And look, I ain't got no political affiliations. I am independent as it gets. Gives a damn about either side, okay? Because both sides have lied, they've cheated, and they've stolen from us. But all this is about, all that's going on, Black Lives Matter, COVID-19, lockdown, children don't go back to school. We want to make sure everything's just as bad as possible so we can make sure, hey, Trump ain't going to win. I mean, let's get serious about this. So this said particular teachers and their unions expressing hesitation or opposition to reopening. So, in closing on this, y'all get off of this, and y'all see right up here, the Reverend Alton Sharpton. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, I think he's Alton. Al Sharpton, as y'all know him. He's the biggest crook, BLM, NAACP there is out there. He has made a living off making sure racism stays alive. Reverend Alton Sharpton, a crook. That's all he is. So, in closing on this, teachers, get out from under your damn beds and take your ass back to school. And look, if you don't want to go back to school, that's fine, but you need to find another profession. Either that, or I don't know. Yeah, just find another profession. I don't even know what else you can do. I hope the government gives you some UBI or something. Maybe you can get on unemployment. But we need to let it go. Let the kids go back, and don't have them masked up and all that. Social distance, stay away from each other. Stop, man. All we're doing is building a whole bunch of kids that are scared of the boogeyman. That's it. Man, you tell your kids not to fear the boogeyman. Stop being scared of the boogeyman. Alright? So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If y'all did, let me know what y'all think about the community centers. I mean, it just sounds like y'all just if y'all scared of COVID spreading, doesn't it sound like y'all just giving it more opportunity to spread around? I'm just wondering that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. So like I said, I hope y'all liked the video. You know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all for checking me out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.